person to the Hudson Eye Edition 2. Over the next 10 days, our festival will showcase what makes Hudson so unique. We carry on a tradition of creative placemaking that spans over 200 years. And we seem to have picked just the right time to bring everybody together. At safe distances, of course. Led by architect Anna Savino, we've implemented a touchless festival. The health and safety of our artists, our attendees, and the Hudson community is our #1 priority. And we'll be sharing more on that later. Although some of you may be joining remotely today, it's undeniable how connected we all are. So thank you for being here with us. In this spirit, I'd like to welcome journalists and friends from across the nation and around the world. Your voice is so important to us. I'd like to extend a very personal thank you to our local friends at Chronogram Magazine, Enid and John, our friends from MB Hudson, Advocate for the Arts, Seth Rogovoy and his Rogovoy Report, Hudson 360, White Hot Contemporary Arts Magazine, and all of our friends in the media. Thank you for your support. It's so important to us. It is now my pleasure to introduce the visionary co-founder of the Hudson Eye, dear friend, and the local Hudson resident, Jonah Bokaer.
Hi, I just wanted to extend the warmest of welcomes today in what is a hybrid in-person and virtual press conference for the Hudson Eye Edition 2. We're here at Hudson Hall, which is a very important local anchor partner. And we have a number of artists and festival visionaries here on the line, but I want to harmonize with Erik by welcoming our partners in the media, and also to say, really from the heart, that as a Hudsonite since 2006, when I sort of in a very ad hoc way brought a dance company up here in search of column-free space, this has really proliferated. And I'm very touched to share news that this annual grant that we bring into town is stable. It's economically stable. We've kept our head count during this challenging year. And with remarkable timing during Mario Cuomo's phase 4.2 reopening of New York State, we're about 2 weeks into that. And just as Erik said, we've been working and doubling down since March with a young architect named Anna Savino to really think through venue safety. So I'd like to thank her and reassure our audiences and our artists and patrons that this is quite on track. Part and parcel of that is the curator born locally named Levi Garvey, who is an ascendant curatorial voice in this nation and also in the Hudson Valley. And he has brought together the artists you're about to hear from, as well as so many more, to really speak about what programming in the new normal is going to look like. So I'm very humbled to work alongside him. In addition to thanking Erik, who's the publicist of the festival, I really want to give a shout out to this very hardworking and loyal staff. We have kept our economic stability and also our head count. And this is really all about local artists and local venues. We have a lot of outdoor art in this edition. And in handing it over to Levi Garvey, who has really curated this year and wants to welcome me personally, I wanted to say we really would like to thank the anonymous donors and angels who make the Hudson Eye possible every year, our board of directors. We'd like to thank the tourism board of the city of Hudson who have been so generous, the Common Council, Mayor Kamal Johnson, the J.M. Kaplan Fund, and so many others as well. I might even add the John Ashbery Trust as well. Reverse Perspective, who you're about to hear from, actually received an international grant, which is called the Trust for Mutual Understanding. So this is really about local artists and local venues. We're humbled to say that this has remained on track and safely. So I'd really like to hand this over to Levi Garvey, who basically is like a co-founder. And again, to thank Hudson Hall, where in about an hour, we're going to open to the public with timed tickets and safely. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending today. The work that Jonah and our crew, Elena, Anna, Julie, Erik, Ryan, Maria, Wendell, endless number of hands working to make this possible. It's really a tremendous lift, and to do something in an area that means so much to me is really something. So to be able to come back here and do something of this stature is quite an achievement. The first half of 2020 has been one for the ages. Likely the longest 6 months that many of us have experienced in our lives, fraught with challenges, pivots, solitude, fears, anxieties. 2020 started out, with great hopes and dreams and thoughts of 2020 vision and being able to see perfectly and see the long view. And I think with all of these challenges, what we've been able to do with this festival and pivot and make something that the general public and everyone can enjoy, I think we are seeing clearly as a society and as a whole and as a group. We've seen a number of successes and bests. Cities, states, countries have emerged stronger, more compassionate, more resilient, unified within their communities more than ever. If 2020 has taught us anything at all, it's that we're able to stand by one another in times of need as friends and as community members. To that point, we're both humbled and proud to be presenting the second edition of the Hudson Eye. As we unveil this program, we have embarked on a mission to think outside the box of what it means to support artists, build community, and present an equitable and dynamic contemporary arts program. From utilizing cable access channels to present contemporary art films directly into people's homes, to the first ever citywide public art initiative in Hudson, featuring nearly 10 artists and modern contemporary dance performances within venues and sites that visitors can maintain socially distanced while remaining engaged with the works and being present. And that's what's really at the crux of this, is being present. Our team has worked tirelessly to build an equitable and diverse program that spans 24 venues, features the works of nearly 30 artists, and hosts over 30 panel speakers in our Hot Topics daily series. We're immensely proud of this program. We've put it together and are eager to share the fruits of our labors with you once again this year as we embark back into the familiar territory of seeing one another in person. I'd like to start with highlighting VitaDuo, Maria and Vitaly, and this is a pre-recorded clip of the new work that will debut during the Hudson Eye Festival. I hope you all enjoy. Wonderful. The next artist that we have up is Shikeith. This is also a pre-recorded video. While we do have a number of pre-recorded videos that we'll be highlighting, a number of the artists are with us as panelists today. So if any questions come up, comments, inquiries and things, please let us know, and we'll open it at the end for public engagement with the artists. Next is Shikeith.
Good morning, my name is Shikeith. I'm an artist and filmmaker based in Pittsburgh, PA. I will be showing 2 experimental short films, a part of the Hudson Eye exhibition. The first, a documentary, #Black Men Dream, created in 2014 at the brink of the Black Lives Matter movement, and A Drop of Sun Under the Earth, produced in 2017. Both films tackle the psychological landscape of Black manhood from a communal and autobiographical perspective. The documentary covers the constraining grips of Western masculinity on the lives of a generation of young Black men, while the second film employs surrealism to engage matters of touch within the lives of Black men. I am really excited to be working again with Curator Aaron Levi Garvey to introduce my work to the Hudson community for the first time, alongside many artists whom I appreciate. At a time, especially when so many of our shows are being shut down. This feels really wonderful. So again, thank you to Jonah and the foundation, and I hope you all enjoy.
Thank you, Shikeith. You'll notice a theme going through each of the artists that we're highlighting specifically today and throughout the festival. A lot of the work is coming from a place of compassion, a place of resiliency, a place of understanding. So next we have Thea.
Hello, I'm Thea, and thanks for being here. I blend performance art, dance, and experimental opera in set and structured improvisational ways. I'm presenting a duet called Vision 2020, a side-by-side duet with another dancer, Leah Torelli, and sound designer, Brian McCorkle. This piece is a retrospective looking back on all of my work since 2016, which includes 4 group works and many solos. In 2016, I invented the technique of the character capsule, which is a combination of facial expression, abstract gesture, and abstract vocal sound, all in 1 to 2 seconds, all at once. Past works have been centered around the ideas of politics, humor, ego, ambition, nuances of communication, sexism, gender roles, grief, and healing. And this current one looks at all of these past ideas, plus they focus on the themes of the afterlife, utopia, and numerology. Working with the Hudson Eye has been very positive, and they have been very attentive and accommodating, and I'm really happy with the venue that's provided for us. I've always liked Hudson, New York very much, so I'm so excited to present here. I'm also looking forward to meeting all of these diverse and fascinating artists in the Hudson Eye. During this time, I really trust the Hudson Eye because of how helpful they continue to be thinking through the care and safety of the artists and audience. I'd like to thank Shannon and Charlotta, the owners of The Milliner, as well as Jonah, Aaron, and the amazing production team behind the Hudson Eye. We're really excited to premiere this duet at the Hudson Eye coming up next Saturday, September 5th at 7:30 at the Hudson Milliner Art Salon on Warren Street. You can find more information on my Instagram, which is at The Little Performance. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to sharing my work with you.
Thank you, Thea. We're looking forward to your performance as well. This is one of the live performances that everyone can attend and engage in and still be socially distanced while present. I did want to note also that if you look to the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A function. So please feel free to send along any questions or comments while I'm going through, and we'll field them at the end and we'll open it up. The next artist that we have is Dan Taulapapa McMullin.
Hello, I'm Dan Taulapapa McMullin. We're in my art studio here in Hudson. I've lived in Hudson for about 7 years now. I moved here from the West Coast. I'm Samoan, originally from American Samoa, which is a U.S. territory island. And I have some work showing in Hudson Eye, some prints, and some paintings. In the Fafinga culture, which is historically is we don't really know the origin of certain things because of the way the church came down on it, so I base some of my paintings on that, a lot on photographs I have taken of friends. So these are photos of friends and yeah, mostly queer Polynesian people who live on the East Coast. Part of the history is about how the West saw queer culture. And they identified a lot of the Polynesian people with hermaphroditus, and because they had no other point of view on the culture, which was to them an abomination. Of course, with them came diseases, and European introduced diseases, and clergy. These photographs are based on photos of friends and historical photos, and I turned them into collages. I'll just briefly read one of the stories I sort of uncovered. On the formation of two bodies being complete, they lived, but were both males and dwelt on the land on which they were formed. One day, whilst fishing with a net called the fa'amutu, one of them was injured by a small fish called the lo, which caused his death. Upon this, Tuli returned to the skies and bewailed the loss of one of the inhabitants of his land to his father, when Laitosi was directed by Tangaloa to proceed to the earth to reanimate the dead body. Previous to which, however, he changed the sex of the deceased male to that of a female. The two then became man and wife and the parents of the human race. That was a kind of a transgender origin story, and it was part of the old religion of Samoa. I'll also be moderating an Indigenous panel, which was on September 3rd at 1 p.m. at Hudson Hall and online. Participating will be members of the Mohegan community, which is the tribal nation from this area, from the upper Hudson Valley. 20 years ago they were relocated to Wisconsin. And the historian of the tribe and an artist, Tamara Appelmuth, will be taking part in the panel. I'm also showing my work with 3 other artists in the Old Hudson Library. There's an event on September 1st at 4 p.m., although the exhibition is open before then, and then for a week after at Hudson Eye.
Thank you, Dan. Those works are absolutely beautiful. Next we have Tommy Coleman, who is in tandem with the citywide public art takeover alongside David Hammond's Shabalala Self and a number of other artists.
Hey, Aaron. Hello?
Yes. Hey, Tommy. So give us a quick rundown of the work that you've done for the Hudson Eye and the public art takeover.
Thanks. I'm really excited to be talking right now and excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Thanks, Jonah, and thanks everyone who's put this on. I'm presenting a series of 15 sculptural works, some of which are new, some of which are reconstructions or revisions of works that I've made over the last, I would say, 13 years. I'm displaying some of these pieces now kind of as a way to engage with the moment and engage with the public, specifically engage with Hudson and the close-knit community that Hudson has. I kind of envision these works as a way of meeting people where they're at. Sometimes as an artist, when we make work for ourselves that we don't quite understand how it will fit in with the way that we operate in the world or go through the world, envisioning ourselves as these incidental vehicles that interact with people and spaces. But over time, I think that our moment meets us. So I would say that all of the works that I'm showing create identifiable moments of empathy, compassion, confession, humility, and overall just human consideration. As a sculptor, the one thing that I think I'm constantly fascinated by is language. You know, as an artist, I really hold on to this moment where I love to think about how I can never quite connect with the things that I love in the world or also want to be. So a part of my sculptural practice is recognizing that I am also a poet that doesn't have a way to express those moments and instead filter it through my sculptural practice. So some of the works that you'll be seeing throughout the town of Hudson use language as a way to connect with humans in a way that otherwise you may not recognize an object or a material, but instead connects people to their location or their feeling as a way to alter or stutter their emotion. I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to being able to see people on the streets, engaging with the work, or even just being able to ask or have interactions with one another while at a safe distance. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Tommy. The work that you've put into this public art initiative is phenomenal. One of the socially distanced elements of the program is that the public artwork is a treasure hunt, if you will, to walk Hudson and understand Hudson through the eyes of a Hudsonite, and for Hudsonites to have art interact with their daily lives. Maybe on your walk to work, on the walk to your cafe, and what have you. So being able to see these pieces and take a pause and take a moment to see that contemporary art, it can be in many different facets and forms throughout your life. The next artist that we have is Filiz Soyak, who is exhibiting her work at the Hudson Hall.
Hey everyone, I'm so grateful to be part of this amazing event in Hudson. Thank you, Jonah, thank you, Aaron, and the whole Hudson Eye team for all your hard work. I've been in Hudson about 3 years, and I'm so grateful to be part of this vibrant community and also have access to the beautiful environment. So my work is about finding peace and stillness and creating internal space. And I use practices of meditation and breath work. Those are really integral pieces of my creative practice, as is spending time in nature. For the Hudson Eye, I have a body of new work showing at Hudson Hall, as well as another outdoor public installation along the Hudson River Skywalk. The body of work in the show at Hudson Hall is titled Breath Monuments and includes works in fiber, painting, and sound. These works are my monuments to breath and to life, and all the work in this show is guided by and explored with my breath. So I work in communion with my breath. I do this because I'm just really interested in bringing visibility to something that's so vital to life, and often taken for granted. And it feels especially important right now in a time when we're faced with crises of profound proportions in the climate, environment, health, anxiety. People are just feeling a lot right now. I'll talk a little bit about some of the specific works that I have at Hudson Hall. So Breath Mountain is a series of works that I made this year. They're made on burlap, and each stitch is made in communion with my breath. So there are hundreds and hundreds of stitches that I hope you'll look at in detail. Breath Waves is a collaborative sound piece that I worked on with Australian sound artist Patrick Hamion. And the composition layers sounds of our breath and slows it down. So it's an exploration and journey of the different sonic elements and characteristics of breath, and really trying to focus on that space in between our breath. And then Breath Flags is the outdoor public art installation. It's a collective global project that I started after the pandemic shut down. It was, for me, a desire to create connection when everyone was at home, and focus on positivity and hope. So to date, I've received over 55 wishes for the future from people of all ages all over the world. And I created 40 unique flags so far, representing those wishes in communion with my breath. And those are now on view along the Hudson River Skywalk, which is a pedestrian walkway that connects the historical sites of Olana and Thomas Cole across the bridge over the Hudson River. And I would really love to invite the public to engage with each flag and the positive hope that each represents. And it's a beautiful walk to do on a beautiful day. And those will be on view through the end of September. There will be a virtual catalog documenting each flag and wish for those who can't physically be in Hudson. Those will be on my website and on Instagram. You can look for just Breath Flags. And I also invite people to continue to share their wishes for the future. This is an ongoing project that I hope to continue and have future installations. But for now, I am just really grateful to be part of this amazing event, and to Erin again, and Jonah, and Hudson Hall, and the entire Hudson Eye team. Thank you.
Thank you, Filiz. As Filiz mentioned, there's a substantial amount of work that has gone into the public art initiative. And one of those is the partnership between Olana, Thomas Cole, and the New York State Bridges Authority. So this installation that Filiz has made at the Skywalk is the first ever art installation that activates both sides of the Skywalk and the Skywalk itself. I'm going to hand it over to Elena Savino, who can talk about our initiatives in venue safety and production. And I just want to remind everyone that you can submit your questions through the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. The artist will be answering submitted questions at the end of the webinar.
Hi, my name is Anna Savino, and I am the young architect who is developing venue safety efforts at the Hudson Eye. And we are excited to present a Touchless Festival this year, with opportunity to present our events without any direct physical interaction with our staff, audiences, or other artists, including an implementation of QR codes for our programs and other literature, so we don't have to physically hand that off to anybody. We have daily hot topic panels, which will be streamed as virtual discussion panels through Zoom. And in addition, there's a strong focus on window art, with venues participating such as Incident Report on Warren Street and Window on Hudson on South 3rd. We have a focus on outdoor programming and alternative venues as well to allow for safe social distancing. Like Aaron mentioned before, we have a Map It Yourself feature for our public art installations, allowing patrons to discover art throughout Hudson at their own pace in a safe, socially distant manner, using our custom map, which can be downloaded from our website. Our indoor programming has been in line with New York State guidelines, as well as is capped at 25 people, and tickets are reserved on a time-ticketed entry basis, with PPE being required and supplied. We also lastly developed venue safety guidelines, checklists, and contact tracing forms so that our artists and venues all feel safe and comfortable and know the protocol, allowing for clear communication, since safety is our #1 priority at the Hudson Eye.
Thank you, Anna. As running a festival, this was one of the things that was close and one of the prime concerns to us. So making strides in how to present contemporary art, how to present programming for the public, and maintaining a socially distanced element while still maintaining engagement is at the root of this project and our ambitions to keep going and our aspirations to keep going. We didn't want to just stop after year one. We were met with a global pandemic, so we had to pivot and understand how else can we support a community, how else can we support artists. Next, I will volley back to Jonah, who can give some closing remarks, and then we will take Q&A.
Hi, Aaron, and hello, colleagues in Hudson and beyond. I'm actually here at Hudson Hall with Letitia Hussein, in fact, who's one of the show-stopping gestures of the festival. This is really not about me. I'd like to just, by name, mention the local artists and the local venues, and graciously to say thanks for this, including to Hudson Hall for hosting. The Hudson Eye 2020 involves Hudson Hall, Second Ward Foundation, the First Presbyterian Church, Tanya Grunert's Princess Beatrix House of the Netherlands, the Old Library, owned by the Galvin Foundation, Ricks Point Waterfront Park, Sandra Loring Sadhana Center, Shannon and Charlotta's Hudson Milliner, thanks to Sherry Jo Williams, Space 428, Window on Hudson with Jeremy Bullis, Incident Report, thanks to Jeffrey Leppendorf and the Flowchart Foundation, Pickett Park, Warren Alleyway, the northwest corner of Front Street, Columbia and Long Alley, Promenade Hill Park, Public Square at 7th Street, Columbia Family Court, Thomas Cole National Historic Site, the Rip Van Winkle Bridge, which is the first time that the two historic sites have been connected by an artist who you heard from, Filiz, the Olana State Historic Site, the Fairview Laundromat Cleaners, and Furniture Plus, also on Fairview. The artists who have activated these sites include Tommy Coleman, who you heard from today. After 2 years of engagement and masterminding, Aaron and I obtained the participation of local roomer David Hammonds, who is flying the African-American flag until January, Shabalala Self, Alora and Calzadia, David Hammonds, Terrence Coe, Myron Polenberg, Shikeith, whom you heard from, Filiz Soyak, a little deep breath, Bibi Hansen, who also opens tonight, Mahogany Brown, Reverse Perspective, whom you heard from, the Olana Partnership, Bill Stone, who has a special sculpture called PPE, Sean Kelly and Collect Wisely, James Auteri, Letitia Hussein, who's here on site, Dan Taulapapa McMullin, whom you heard from as well, Ryan Ostrowski, Mackenzie Rayleigh, Vishaka Desai and the New Geopolitics of COVID-19, Natalie Jonas, choreographer, the Indigenous Art Historian panel, organized by Dan, including Tamara Aumapot, as well as Heather Bruegel, John Ashbury's masterpiece Litany, co-produced with the Flowchart Foundation, including Jeffrey Leppendorf, Anselm Berrigan, Tyle Dakuyan, and others. The Black Arts and Culture Festival Awards by Elena Mosley. Awake to the Dharma with Sandra Loring, and we're not done yet. Design Hudson, Present, Past, and Future, organized by Sherry Jo Williams with 4 illustrious panelists. Thea Little, whom you heard from today, additional choreography that's on Peak Labor Day Saturday. Peak Local, Who is an Artist in Hudson, organized by Fence editor Rebecca Wolf. And last but not least, Shanika McIntosh, The Spiral as Ritual. On Labor Day itself, Shabalala Self has a very special announcement for our community about next year. Okay, I hope we've credited everyone, and we want to say thank you again. This is really about local artists and local venues, so thank you really to everyone who's made this possible for us. I think over to Erik. We are switching to gallery mode, in which all artists only will unmute, so that we can do this new format in which the press can ask questions both on site and virtually. Thanks for swimming with us on this, and we think that we have figured this out, and to present you with culture during these times. Thank you.
Hey.
Group hug.
Yeah, we're all here. Great. All right, so I wanted to talk to everyone. We have some questions rolling in, and one was for Thea. How do you? I'll reword this a little bit. How do you anticipate your performance traversing the attendance and understanding space while remaining socially distant?
Hi. Yes, that's a very good question, and we've been thinking about this a lot throughout the rehearsals the past 3-4 months or so, and kind of changing it and adjusting it. The ideal idea was to have like an audience that was kind of roaming around freely and wandering and having a lot of agency and making their decisions. But I think for the most safe formality is, I believe we're going to just have a spaced out audience seating in the front near the entrance of Hudson Milliner. And then Leah and I will be dancing in the middle area, and Brian will be doing the sound visibly in a corner. And then you'll see a projection with some video on it as well. And us performers are all going to wear face shields. And we're hoping that everyone in the audience will wear masks as well. So.
Thank you. Dan, this one's for you. Can you tell us a little bit more about the conceptual nature of your work and your paintings and how they align with the collage work that you do?
One of my recent works was an appropriation video called 100 Tikis, which was about stereotypes of Polynesian people and the intersection of activism, or the conflict between activism and colonial imagery in the Pacific Islands. So from that work, I began looking at appropriation as part of my practice, as an integral part of my practice. And I got into a lot of research, which fascinates me because it overturns some of my own preconceptions about what Polynesian culture is. A lot of material that I would have at one time have had to travel to New Zealand or Europe or somewhere to find in archives that is available on the internet now. So to do historical research of texts and images that have been published at one time is possible now. So, and I've been looking at language a lot. Polynesian languages are interrelated. I grew up speaking Samoan, although I'm not fluent now, but I can read Samoan, and it's related to Hawaiian and Tahitian and Maori. So it's sort of a key to reading indigenous texts in original languages. And then I've been working on my French. And one Tiki showed, it did, I don't know what the phrase is. It got a lot of attention in the French-speaking world, and showed at Musée du Quai Branly in Paris, and at FIFO Festival in Tahiti, and French television translated it. I did subtitles on it, and showed in the Outre-mer, which is the French world, French-speaking world. In Montreal. And so I'm very interested in how language separates indigenous peoples who are very closely related, as Tahitian people and Hawaiian people are, but we're separated by colonial structures, and how that has impacted our own histories, and the way that sovereignty and governance are impacted by continuing colonialism. And then I'm also just interested in pretty pictures and moving paint around, which makes me happy. And if I can sit in my studio and paint all afternoon, I'm in heaven. And move pieces of collage around. Just give me my Photoshop and some paint and leave me alone. And then at some point, connecting in this way through my own communities and the Jonah community is very satisfying.
Thank you.
Did I answer the question?
Yes, absolutely. I believe so. Filiz, there's a question about the, can you go a little bit further in depth about the participatory element of your installation at the Skywalk?
Sure. So I've been collecting wishes since May, but my hope is to continue to grow this project. I have over 55 wishes so far from people all over the world, and from ages 4 all the way up. From Sweden to Portugal to all over the States. But yeah, people can, so there's a few ways people can engage with the project. If people would like to submit a wish, they can go to my website. There's a form, so it's just filizsoyak.com, and they can click on breath flags. So that's one way, and I've made 40 flags so far, but plan to continue making the flags, and each flag is a unique interpretation of everyone's wish. And so people are encouraged to think about a wish for the future. What would they like to see? What hope? What positive intention? And during the installation at the Skywalk, people can engage by just walking along the Skywalk. Each flag has a tag that notes the specific wish and the person, just by first name, the person and location from where that wish came from. And yeah, I encourage people to take a walk. It's a really beautiful walk with beautiful views. And so yeah, those are some different ways that people can engage. And after the Skywalk, I'm looking into different locations for the next installation. So,
can you tell us a little bit about those locations? I know there was an inquiry in Sweden.
Yeah, there's some interest to do more of like locally specific installations with wishes within those locations, from people within those locations. So one came from Sweden, another we're talking about doing one in Portugal, but I would love to find a local, a more permanent, semi-permanent location here in Hudson for the flags so that people can continue to engage with them. And the idea is that they're best installed in a place where the wind can catch them and carry the wishes to the ethers.
Thank you, Filiz. We have a question for Maria and Vitaly. Can you give us some idea of your work and let us know a little bit about the new piece that has been created?
Sure. Hello, everyone. We're very happy to be here. Our project is very special for us and very dear to our hearts. It's actually a collaborative project. We're classical musicians. And in this project, we will present our collaboration with dancers. And it's been choreographed by Jonah, Bokaer. And we try to expand our boundaries and to expand actually our art. So we think that actually the new genre was born on this project, and the music is also was written specially for this evening. So we're very happy to premiere it on Sunday at the First Presbyterian Church.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind it? And then
well, it was inspired actually by artist's life. And the initial idea was showing to the audience, you know, what are the tortures and what is the path of the artist. It came up as a very beautiful project, and I'm sure that every listener will interpret it differently. And I think it's very rich, and actually it's interesting what people would think of it. So it was inspired by artistic life, and what will be presented you will see on Sunday.
Tommy, can you talk, I think that actually segues into the next question about your work specifically, and placing very sentimental elements throughout the city. And it was asking, are these direct inspirations or feelings that you have had throughout your time and your career?
Yeah, definitely. You know, while all of the works are being displayed right now at once, they have all been things that I have felt or kept over time. To be very specific, down, blanking on the street, off of Warren, there's an alley that is near South 5th where you will find 5 panels that are representations of notebook paper that are made out of wood and cast epoxy elements that all kind of embody a sense of confession or journaling. And those are all new pieces that sort of convey moments that I have experienced or thought about over the last maybe year or so. I think all of the work, whether it's about me having it or not as a feeling, it's something that I'm observing in the world, whether it's through or it's my own. It isn't a possessive act. That's the way I describe it. It's this moment where you empathize with a crowd, or you empathize with something that isn't human, to the way where you start to realize that you are disconnecting yourself and starting to connect your feelings to an object or a material. Down the end of Warren Street, you will find a billboard that presents itself as we, and up on State Street, you will find another billboard that presents itself as I. And while they're disassociating themselves from one another, they are still in conversation with one another. So I think that the possessive nature of having a feeling or that can't be kept or commodified, and instead is something that the work that I'm making is a vehicle for giving something back to a viewer. I think that answers the question.
Amazing, thank you, Donald. And we'll go with one last question, and this kind of segues into my closeout remarks. How would you describe the overall intention of the program, first culturally and second communal? You know, ultimately, this program is geared towards building community cross-culturally. You know, there's a number of intersections that are happening. There's a number of work that's being created by artists from various backgrounds and various community members, and they're all working unified as artists under a number of inspirations and a number of ideas. And truly, the crux of that is to build community and understand that the work that's being presented is for everyone. The democratization of the arts for everyone to be able to participate, no matter your background, your education, your upbringing, any of that. This program is for everyone. With that said, I look forward to seeing everyone this week. Thank you for, wait, hang on, I think we have a hand raised. And then,
Yeah, I just raised a hand to say that if you take a look at the Hot Topics series in particular, they're spotlighting community organizations. Give us until tomorrow, but the Black Arts and Cultural Festival aspires to, and Operation Unite, they aspire to actually do an awards ceremony online and in person to spotlight community achievement. So I just wanted to give them a shout out. Some of the artists who are in town, what we've done is we've done a half day. The day being for community engagement until 2 p.m. and then 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. more of a work day, remotely or at safe distances. So the 24 venues we mentioned, you know, maybe next year there will be more, but it's really for us, it's about local venues and about local artists, our commitment to them.
thank you for attending, everyone. I look forward to seeing you this week.